Hello, this is Germain.
This is Rich Mattson, and you're listening to the Native Americana Audio Cafe
with Keith Nicola.
Hello, Rich.
Hey, Keith.
Good to have you here on the Native Americana Audio Cafe. It's a treat to be able to come into people's living rooms and the artists that we know to kind of take us to where the music is happening. And you're certainly one of these people that we want to visit. So how are you coping?
Holding up pretty good, actually. You know, we're on the outside of town, so we don't see a lot of people anyway. And I mean, I take a walk out around my neighborhood, and there's nobody around because it's kind of a ghost town, you know.
I know later on in the broadcast you're going to take us for a little walk, and we're going to see what you see. And I know you've done a lot of recording. Have you been able to write during this period? Have you been creating, and what have you been doing?
Well, I had a couple of projects that I needed to wrap up, so I've been doing some mixing in the studio. And it was my sister's birthday on the 20th, and I told her I was going to do a Facebook Live concert for her. And I thought I'd try it, you know, just to see how it sounds first, and make it my own audience, you know. And I did a little thing, and I listened back, and oh, this is terrible. It's that I got a bad connection or something. It didn't sound right. So I recorded a couple of songs, and I put them on YouTube for her. And I sent her those links. I said, hey, this is kind of fun. You know, I think I'll do this again. And then I did it the next day and the next day. And I've been doing that every day. I'm recording 3 or 4 songs in different parts of the studio. And Germain's been getting in on it too. We've been outside playing, like out in the field and stuff. And I upload those every day to my YouTube channel, and I'll share them on Facebook, and just keeping busy. It's like I have a gig to go to.
Some of the artists you recorded, you recently recorded Annie Humphreys, who will be later on one of the episodes, and Jeremy was the producer. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Annie is a real force of nature. She came in, she recorded some demos with me, and I just loved her song so much. It's just so powerful. And she talked about coming back and doing the real version of the album and bringing Jeremy. And I've known Jeremy for a lot of years, and he's just such an amazing guitarist, and just so many ideas, and just having his input and being able to just sit in the control room and just make sure I'm getting good solid sounds from everybody and good performances. And it was an incredible experience working with Annie. And she was here around Germain's birthday, and she made some moccasins for her. And when Germain opened those moccasins, it was just like the spirit entered the room, you know. It was just really something else.
Annie's magical like that. And
yeah.
So has your studio been so positive there up on the Iron Range, my own home area.
Yeah.
Some of the other artists that you've been recording, if you can.
Well, I had a lot of cancellations, unfortunately, for this month, but I had this. Well, you were going to be here this past week, I was kind of sad that got canceled. Let's see, I had this guy Dave Rave. He's from Canada. He was here in January. I got this guy Steve Solkola, who's he's a young accordion player that writes songs, and he's really prolific, and he comes over and records like 15 songs in a weekend or something. I had Leslie Rich and the Rocket Soul Choir, and been working on this Rich Mattson and the Northstars album, and that's getting pretty close to being done.
How many recordings do you have with the Northstars, Rich?
We've got 5 albums out right now, so we're working on our 6th one. We've got a whole bunch of homemade videos that we've done. The latest one is one that Germain put together. It's called a song called "Safe in Our Zoo."
Sunset, colors that fade, painted for you. And we kept walking into the night, safe in our zoo. Just me and you, safe in our zoo. Bred with a fence all around. They tell us what to eat and where to sleep. It's all taken care of. And it never crossed our minds we'll never get out. What's that all about? We'll never get out. What is the need for all this life? What is the goal if we're not free? Can we survive? Safe in our zoo, walking free. Safe in our zoo, just me and you.
Tell me about your video that you prepared for us today here on the Native Americana Audio Cafe.
Well, I just kind of shot a couple of videos of Sparta, the way it looks right now. See, it's kind of a long story, but I talk about it in the video about how it's a mining town, kind of like where you grew up in Parkville. You know, everybody had to move out, and they didn't get nothing for their houses, and you know, they just it turned into a ghost town, and there's all these abandoned houses, and now they finally tore them down, but there's big piles of garbage out there now. It's kind of disgusting, but you get away from all that, and then there's the open pit, and there's a nice walking trail that my dog and I, and sometimes Germain joins me on that too. So Sparta was one of the first iron ore mining towns on the Iron Range, and still some dirt roads out here. Only about 8 houses remain of the original town. And the rest of the town was on leased property, leased from the mining companies. And these leases were for 99 years. And after I moved here, my house is on private property, I guess, so I get to stay in Sparta, kind of on the edge of town. But the leases were up 10 years after I moved in, and all these people moved out, and this is what's left. The residents were told to remove all structures, but a lot of them were elderly and are poor, didn't have the means to destroy their homes. So eventually, last winter, finally, after people have been out of here for about 10 years, finally they hired somebody to crush the houses and haul them away in dumpsters, and left these big piles of garbage everywhere. Thriving little community, just a neighborhood, a little village, kind of like the Shire. and The Hobbit. Let these roads remain, and there's trails back in the woods, and there's an iron ore pit straight ahead of me, about maybe a quarter of a mile. And here we are at the Genoa pit. This is the iron ore open pit mine where everyone in Sparta worked back in the late 1800s, early 1900s. So they've got this pit more or less fenced off. They don't want people going back there. Just private property, mining property, but they're always cutting through and getting in there. And on the other side of the pit, there's these cliffs. Kids are jumping off them all summer long. They put more fences up. I'm sure probably by the end of this summer, they'll cut holes in all the fences and get down there.
Any inspiration, that you can give us in way to keep positive, anything like that, Rich?
I don't know. I just highly recommend getting outside, finding a spot to take a walk where you're not going to run into people, and get there and just get out in nature and take a walk and just let it soothe your mind and just get away.
You wouldn't happen to have a guitar near you where you could strum us a couple notes, would you?
Yeah, I do.
All right.
I've always got a guitar within arm's reach.
That's great. Let me hear a song, Rich.
Let's see. Being beat up and battered around, been tied up and I've been shot down. You're the best thing that I've ever found. Handle it with care.
Been put up and battered around.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great, man. And then how can we buy your music? I mean, tell us how we can get your stuff now.
Well, all those videos I was just talking about, they're all on my YouTube channel, and that's youtube.com/ReggiePipe, like ReggiePype, Reggie Pipe. That's my video channel, and all my music it's all streaming. It's all on Spotify and all those other Apple Music and stuff. And I've got a website. It's richmattsonmusic.com. There's a discography link there and it's got pretty much every album that I've ever recorded on there, and a list of bands that I recorded at the studio, all kinds of info. There's a biography that's really, really long. It's kind of been a work in progress for the last 15 years.
All right, Miguich. If you want to get Germain up here, so that'll be our espresso cup.
Cool. Germain's right here.
Okay.
You want to
Put
get
her
it?
in front.
Huh?
Put her in front.
Okay.
Hi.
Well, from your perspective, you're a therapist, and is there anything that you can tell us how we can keep healthy, and any message you can give our listeners today?
Well, I think you have to have hope and faith and just be optimistic, because the other choice is just too sad and depressing. And it's just, I mean, you've got to have something to look forward to every day somehow. And getting outdoors, I think, is one of the most therapeutic things you can do, is just forest bathe. It's kind of my version of going to church, just being in the great outdoors. But to also know that this is not an issue that's just for certain people. Like, this is a really worldly, come together time that people really gotta to help each other out. It's so kindness has always mattered, but this is going to be about saving lives.
So I know a lot about Rich's music, and where did you start studying music? Where are you from?
Well, I grew up in St. Paul by McAllister College, and my first introduction to music was just my parents' record collection. But then after that, by the age of 5, my parents made me take classical piano through Suzuki, and I did that till I was 12. And then after that, by the time I was about 12, I was starting to get into the college radio station, which played lots of great music and introduced me to the whole Minneapolis music scene. I went to my First Avenue show at like 12 because they had all ages shows on Sundays. And then I decided I wanted to have my own band. So I started my own little punk rock band when I was 17. That would have been funny. When I was 17. And it was with 4 women. And so that was fun. And that was the late 80s, early 90s. And then from there, transitioned into a whole different types of music, but started writing my own music by the time I was 20. And definitely, I put out my first record on a label at that age and then just kept with it and kind of took little dips and valleys, like, with times when I'd be writing and stuff, but then really came on strong again in about 2006. I taught myself acoustic guitar because I only sang and wrote lyrics before then. But so then taught myself acoustic guitar in like 2006 and then reconnected with Rich in like 2007-ish and started recording at Sparta Sound. And then we started playing music together. And then, of course, here we are a decade later or more and still writing tunes. But a lot of, my music, Rich is the first person I've ever co-wrote with, ever, because I always just wrote my own songs and brought them to people and shared them. But he's the first person I've ever collaborated with, actually, sharing writing. Maybe one of us, maybe we'll write it together. Maybe one of us will write the lyrics. Maybe one will write the guitar. But quite a journey of making music.
Well, I heard the version of King by now, and I just love your background vocals and all your soft intonations and your other tones, like Every Day's Christmas. I love the way you guys cover them songs.
I know. I love those. They're such good songs, Keith. We're so grateful to have met you and make music with you. And I'm glad at least to see your face this way, even if it's not in the studio, darn it.
How about, are you been writing anything during this quarantine period?
Well, we have some new songs that we're going to be putting on this new record. So I'm still working on some that we went on a trip for Rich's birthday last year about this time to Utah, and we were camping in the Canyonlands, and we were camping in a teepee. And on his birthday, I finished off a song that's going to be on our new record called Kiss the Sky. And I was sitting in that teepee, and those red rocks are so beautiful against that amazing blue sky. It just was so inspirational. This is a song I wrote called Kiss the Sky, and it was filmed. It was our first debut of it at the 331 Club in Minneapolis, filmed by Jeff Miltich.
All things wild and free.
All right, you guys, it was good to have you on the Audio Cafe today from Sparta. And you guys are inspirational to people up there in the North Country and all over the Midwest and the United States and the world. How about a parting song? Do you got one? Can you pull up your guitar there, Rich?
Sure we can. He's always got a guitar.
What's a good parting song? If I could be king by now, I had so many things. I could have a queen by now. If only I were a king. I'm not down about it. Oh, melancholy, helplessly, hopelessly romantic, hyperly melodramatic. I love you.
We love you too, Rich and Germain.
We
Thank
love
you very
you.
much. God bless.
Peace, love.
All right.
Take care. I can see you. Can you see me? Oh, I'm getting just used to this technology, you know. I'm a techno peasant.
Are you used to seeing yourself on the screen yet, or?
Oh, I see myself. No, I am not used to that. I don't love that, but hey, it's good to see your face.